undefeated Olympian from Wolverhampton, the surgeon, Ben Whitaker.
There are knockouts that end fights, and then there's the kind of knockout that ends career plans.
Oh, shot. From Whittaker, and he is stretched out on his back, and he is out.
November 29th, 2025, Birmingham, England. The National Exhibition Center is absolutely packed. Ben the Surgeon Whittaker walks out dressed like the Silver Surfer with UK rapper Dizzy Rascal performing live.
Here is Ben Whitaker!
The crowd is losing their minds, and Benjamin Gavazi is standing across the ring thinking he's about to have a competitive 10-round boxing match. Narrator voice, he was not. 2 minutes and 15 seconds later, Gavazi's on the canvas, the refs waving it off, and every other light heavyweight contender watching at home just quietly removed Ben Whitaker from their winnable fights list. Because here's what nobody's talking about. The scary part isn't how Whittaker did it, it's what happened after. The hesitation in every future opponent's game plan. The maybe we wait until next year conversations between fighters and their teams. The social media comments that went from Whittaker's all flash, no power to yeah, I'm good on that fight actually. Tonight we're breaking down the Whittaker effect, not just the knockout, the aftermath, the psychological warfare, the career-altering consequences of getting erased in under 3 minutes on live television. Stay locked in, because we're also diving into the Cameron redemption arc, the burglary that happened mid-fight, and why this 28-year-old Olympic silver medalist just became the most dangerous avoid in British boxing. This is the impact analysis your boxing feed isn't showing you. Let's go surgical. Alright, context time. Before November 29th, 2025, Ben Whitaker had a complicated reputation. Record 9-0-1. That draw, the infamous Liam Cameron fight where they both fell out of the ring in round 5. Yeah, that actually happened. We'll get to that circus in a minute. Whittaker's an Olympic silver medalist from Tokyo 2020. He's got pedigree, he's got skills, he's got the flashy showboat style, the hand behind the back, the showboating, the I'm that guy energy that makes half the crowd love him, and the other half want to see him humble. But here's the thing, before that Gavazi knockout there were questions. Can he actually punch? Is the Olympic style gonna translate when pros start hitting back? Is the flash covering up for something missing? Then one right hand answered all of that, because a first round knockout isn't just exciting for highlight reels, it's strategic disruption on a psychological level. Think about it, when you knock someone out in under 3 minutes, you're not just beating that guy, you're sending a message to every other fighter in the division. I don't need time to figure you out. I don't need to download your patterns for 3 rounds. I already know what you're going to do before you do it, and I can end your night before you've even broken a sweat. That's not confidence, that's inevitability, and once that perception sets in, good luck getting fighters to sign contracts without demanding extra money for hazard pay. That's the Whittaker effect, and once that message is sent, you can't unsend it. So who was Benjamin Gavazi before he met the surgeon? The 30-year-old German walked into Birmingham with a 19-1 record. Experienced, battle-tested, 13 knockouts on his resume, so he could hurt you if you got careless. This wasn't a tune-up fight. This wasn't Eddie Hearn feeding Whittaker some overmatched journeyman to pad the stats. Gavazi was supposed to be a test, a legitimate measuring stick to see if Whittaker's matchroom debut would be competitive, or if the Olympic pedigree would translate into pro dominance. Before facing Whittaker, Gavazi's resume suggested durability, only 1 loss in 20 professional fights. Respectable power, 13 stoppages meant he wasn't just there to survive rounds. Experience advantage, Gavazi had been a pro since 2018. Whittaker turned pro in 2022. That's years more ring time at the professional level. Maybe Gavazi wouldn't win, but he'd push Whittaker, make him work, show us if the flash was backed up by substance. Matchroom Boxing had just signed Whittaker to a long-term deal. Eddie Hearn was hyping him as the next flashy British showboat in the mold of Nassim Hamed and Chris Eubank Sr. All those eccentric characters with plenty of ability behind the antics. The pressure was on. This was Whittaker's promotional debut. The spotlight was hot. And Whittaker walked out with Dizzy Rascal performing live, dressed like he was about to save the galaxy from Galactus, and the entire arena thought, okay, this is either going to be amazing or spectacularly embarrassing. Spoiler alert, it was amazing. And it was over so fast that half the crowd didn't even have their beers yet. Alright, let's break down what actually happened in that ring, because this wasn't a lucky punch, this was systematic. Opening bell, Whittaker comes out looking relaxed, lead hand low, shoulders loose, confidence dripping off him like he's sparring with his little brother. Gavazi tries to establish his jab, smart move. You're the bigger, more experienced guy. Establish the jab. Control distance. Don't let the flashy kid get comfortable. But Whittaker's already reading him like a children's book written in size 48 font. First 30 seconds. Whittaker starts with his left jab. Nothing crazy, just feeling the distance, timing Gavazi's reactions. Then he goes to the body. Clean shots. Not wild bombs, just purposeful strikes that let Gavazi know, yeah, I can touch you whenever I want. Gavazi's trying to set his feet, trying to find his rhythm, but every time he plants to throw, Whittaker's already moved. It's like trying to hit smoke. Here's where it gets scary if you're Gavazi. Whittaker starts loading up. He's not headhunting recklessly, he's setting traps. Feinting, making Gavazi react to things that aren't coming yet. He lands a crisp combination. Jab, jab, right hand. Gavazi's guard is high, but you can see it. Whittaker's timing him, studying the exact moment Gavazi's weight shifts, when his feet are planted, when his head's in position. Then it happens. Whittaker throws a big overhand right, and it lands flush on the side of Gavazi's head. Not a lucky shot, a perfectly timed right hand that Whittaker had been setting up since the opening seconds. Gavazi's legs do that thing legs do when the brain says, wait, what just happened? And the body says, we're going down, chief. Gavazi hits the canvas, not from a flash knockdown, but from a statement punch.
And a big right hand, and down goes Gavazi in the first round.
The crowd erupts. The commentators are losing it. Gavazi gets up. Credit to him, he's tough, but you can see it in his eyes. Oh, this is different. This is not what I trained for. Referee Mark Bates gives him the count. Gavazi nods like he's okay, but his body language tells a different story. Whittaker doesn't wait. He doesn't give Gavazi time to recover, shake off the cobwebs, find his footing. He smells blood, and he goes straight back to work. Whittaker moves in with a left hook that rocks Gavazi again. Then a right hand, even cleaner than the first one. Gavazi tries to clinch, tries to buy time, but Whittaker steps back and unleashes. Whittaker lands another thunderous right hand that sends Gavazi crashing to the canvas hard.
He patrols! What a knockout!
Gavazi's on his back. His eyes are open, but the lights are off. Referee Mark Bates doesn't even bother with a count. He waves it off immediately. Whittaker walks to the neutral corner. Calm, collected, barely breathing hard, like he just finished a light gym session. That's not just a knockout, that's a statement finish that becomes a warning label for every other fighter at 175 pounds. So what happens after a knockout like that? Let's talk ripple effects, because this isn't just about Gavazi's record changing from 19-1 to 19-2. After that night, Gavazi's aura completely shifted. Before Whittaker, he was the experienced contender with legitimate power who could give anyone problems. A guy promoters could build fights around. After Whittaker, he's the guy who got erased in the first round by a flashy British showboat on live television in front of thousands. That's not an insult to Gavazi, it's just the brutal reality of boxing psychology. Once you've been knocked out that convincingly, it doesn't just affect your record, it changes how future opponents prepare for you. They watch that tape, they see how Whittaker timed you, they see how you reacted under pressure, they see that your chin isn't made of granite, and they learn. Every future opponent now knows, if I can land clean like Whittaker did, Gavazi goes down. That's the blueprint, and once it exists, you can't erase it. Before that knockout, Whittaker was good, undefeated, talented, Olympic pedigree. After that knockout, he became a problem no one wants to solve unless the money is stupid good. Promoters now see him as a selling fighter. People want to watch him. That ring walk alone is worth the price of admission. a title threat. He's ranked number 9 in the WBC and climbing fast. With David Benavidez potentially moving up to cruiserweight, Whittaker could be fighting for a world title by late 2026. A dangerous matchup. Opponents must prepare for him differently. You can't just show up and fight your normal fight. You need a specific game plan, and even then, you might get caught. And his next fight, rumored to be a US debut in early 2026, because that's what happens when you deliver Knockout of the Year performances on major platforms. Eddie Hearn's already talking about bringing him to America. Here's where it gets really interesting. Other contenders at 175 pounds are now watching Whittaker like he's a final boss in a video game they're not ready for yet. Names like Dan Aziz, British rival legitimate threat, Callum Smith, former world champion, Chris Eubank Jr. if he moves up, Lyndon Arthur, solid contender, Callum Simpson, rising prospect. All potential future opponents, all probably watching that Gavazi knockout and thinking, yeah, maybe we let him fight someone else first. Because when a fighter delivers a finish that clinical, that fast, it doesn't just earn respect, it earns hesitation. And hesitation, even just a half beat of, do I really want this fight, is psychological leverage you can't buy. That's the Whittaker effect in action, not just winning, rewriting how people see you in 135 seconds. Now, we can't talk about Whittaker's 2025 without talking about Liam Cameron, because the Gavazi knockout didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened after months of controversy, criticism, and questions about Whittaker's heart. Let's rewind to the chaos. October 12th, 2024, Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, Whittaker versus Cameron. First fight, IBF International Light Heavyweight title on the line. Round 5, both fighters get tangled up near the ropes, and they both fall out of the ring. Yes, you read that correctly. Both fighters over the top rope, crashing onto the floor outside the ring like a WWE spot gone wrong. Whittaker injures his ankle in the fall, can't continue. Fight goes to the judges' scorecards. Split decision technical draw, but here's what people actually said on social media. Whittaker quit. He was losing and found a way out. He doesn't have the heart for the big fights. All flash, no substance.
I mean, a lot of people calling the accusation that he quit in that fight. What did you feel about that situation?
He quit. He quit.
That one moment told me everything I need to know about Ben Whitaker and where his head is at in this game. Quitting last night, bailing on a fight that had slipped through his fingers, looked like it was gone. Looked like it was going from him.
The criticism was brutal. Boxing Twitter was ruthless. Even at his homecoming fights in England, some fans were booing him. Critics questioned his mental toughness. Analysts wondered if the Olympic style wouldn't translate when the going got tough. That's the kind of noise that breaks fighters, the kind of doubt that seeps into your head during training camp and whispers, what if they're right? But not Whittaker. Instead of crumbling, he made changes. Big changes. He linked up with Andy Lee, former world champion, highly respected trainer, the kind of coach who doesn't just teach technique, he rebuilds mentality. Whittaker moved to Ireland for training camp. No distractions, no social media noise, just work. And when the rematch was announced for April 20th, 2025 in Birmingham, Whittaker wasn't talking trash. He was focused. The rematch, April 20th, 2025. This time, there was no controversy. This time, there was no question. Round 1, Whittaker comes out disciplined, sharp, focused, no excessive showboating, just precision. He's working behind the jab, establishing distance, making Cameron work. Cameron's pressing forward, trying to rough Whittaker up, make it ugly. Near the end of the round, Cameron lands a solid right hand that gets Whittaker's attention. But Whittaker doesn't panic. He clinches, resets, and finishes the round strong. Round 2, the finish. Whittaker lands a long countering right hand that rocks Cameron. Cameron's legs wobble. He totters back toward the ropes. Whittaker doesn't hesitate. He drives forward and unloads. Clubbing shots, hooks, uppercuts. Cameron's covering up, but he's not firing back. Referee Howard Foster steps in and waves it off. TKO, 1 minute, 53 seconds of round 2. Cameron's corner complains that it was a fast stoppage. And they're not wrong, Cameron was still on his feet, but the fight was clearly going one direction. After the fight, Whittaker celebrates wildly. He runs to Cameron's corner, cups his glove to his ear like he's listening for the boos, roars like a lion. Some people said he crossed the line, but his trainer Andy Lee defended him. Nobody can underestimate what this man has gone through the last 6 months. The barrage of insults, the fact fact he's still standing here, not many people could put up with what he's been through. That Cameron rematch wasn't just a win, it was redemption, it was validation. It was Whittaker answering every critic, every doubter, every "he quit" comment with a definitive statement: "I'm still here, and I'm better than I was before." That victory set the stage for Gavazi. That victory restored the confidence. That victory reminded everyone why Whittaker was supposed to be special in the first place. Let's talk about something most highlight reels don't show you: fear. Not the kind of fear that makes you freeze. The kind of fear that makes you adjust. When a fighter knows a jab can snap your head back, a right hand can end the night instantly, the opponent is comfortable hitting while you're still thinking about what to throw, then the whole game shifts. Strategy becomes defense first instead of pressure first. You start fighting not to lose instead of fighting to win. And once that mindset creeps in, you're already beaten before the first bell. That's not luck, that's mental leverage applied through physical dominance. Ben Whitaker has mastered it. He doesn't just beat you with speed or power, he beats you with timing, confidence, and the belief that he's always 2 steps ahead. He makes you second guess yourself mid-combination, makes you hesitate on punches you'd normally throw without thinking. Future opponents now have to game plan around that. They have to watch tape and ask themselves, how do I avoid getting caught the way Gavazi did? How do I stay aggressive without walking into that right hand? How do I maintain my confidence when I know one mistake could end it in under 3 minutes? Those are questions that don't have easy answers. And when fighters can't find easy answers, they start looking for easier fights. That's why Whittaker is so dangerous. It's not just the skills, it's the psychological warfare that happens before the first punch is even thrown. Oh, and here's a wild twist to this story that sounds like something out of a movie. On the same night Whittaker was delivering that knockout of the year performance in Birmingham, burglars broke into his house in Wednesbury, West Midlands and robbed him. Yeah, while he was winning the WBC Silver Light Heavyweight title in front of thousands of fans, someone was breaking his kitchen window and stealing his IBF international belt. Whittaker came home, still riding the high of his performance, and discovered the break-in. He posted a video on Instagram. Highs and lows of the sport. Come back from my fight, house has been burgled. But Wednesbury, I got a big reward. Find these people, let me know. They've even took my IBF belt. What are they gonna do with that?
Highs and lows of the sports. Come back, house has been burgled. But Wednesbury, I got a big reward. Find these people, let me know. They've even took my IBF belt. What are they gonna do with that? So yeah, let me know. Hit me up in the DMs. Big reward. Love.
The IBF International title was the belt he won back in June 2024 against Ezra Aranyeca. Now it's sitting in some burglar's house like a trophy they have no idea what to do with. West Midlands police opened an investigation, but as of right now, the belt's still missing. Apparently this isn't uncommon in combat sports. Fighters like Manny Pacquiao, Naoya Inoue, Ryan Garcia, Marlon Vera, and Cyril Gane have all been burgled while away for fights. It's a reminder, even when you're on top, even when you just delivered one of the best performances of the year, life has a way of keeping you humble. But Whittaker handled it with class, posted about it, offered a reward, and kept his focus on what matters, becoming a world champion. Because at the end of the day, belts can be replaced. Moments like that Gavazi knockout, those last forever. So what does Ben Whittaker actually take from opponents? He takes your comfort, he takes your timing, he takes your belief that your plan A is enough. Some fighters bounce back, some reinvent themselves, but nobody leaves the same. Because when you fight a problem solver, a guy who can read you in real time, adjust mid-fight, and make you look predictable even when you're doing everything right, you don't just lose. You get exposed in a way the whole sport studies. Every future opponent watches that tape. Every trainer breaks down your habits. And every time you step in the ring after, there's a voice in the back of your head asking, what if I run into another Whittaker? That's the effect. That's the legacy. That's what makes Ben the Surgeon Whittaker one of the most dangerous fighters in the light heavyweight division right now. He's 28 years old, he's 10-0 and won with 7 knockouts. He's ranked number 9 in the WBC with a clear path to a title shot if David Benavidez moves up. And after that Gavazi performance, the entire division is watching, calculating, wondering if they're ready for that smoke. The answer for most of them is probably not. If you love breakdowns that teach while they entertain, tactics, psychology, career timelines, and legacy deep dives, hit that subscribe button right now. This is Knockout Kings Elite, where we break down the real science behind elite boxing, MMA, and combat sports. Drop a comment. Who should Whittaker fight next? Dan Aziz, British Showdown, Callum Smith, former world champ Test, Chris Eubank Jr., if he moves up, straight to a title shot if Benavidez vacates. Tell us why in the comments. Smash that like button if you want more Whittaker breakdowns. We're also breaking down elite jab techniques at light heavyweight and why Whittaker's jab is more dangerous than people think. This is Knockout Kings Elite. The smarter you watch, the better you understand. Let's go.